Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video, I want to go over my top 10 increased resistance champions in Raid Shadow Legends. This is something, a buff, which really did not get all that much love historically. It was kind of always there. There are some niche uses. I definitely think that with newer champions coming in, and with content like Chimera, and obviously the tantalizing future of quick battles for Chimera sometime this year, I think increased resistance is a buff which is really trending upwards, and it's something that's really worth considering. Who is the best increased resist champion I can get on my account for when I want to use those strategies, because they're really, really powerful. I mean, Grim Forest, we saw stacking resistance as well being super impactful. How does it work? Well, just briefly, very quickly, it gives you 50% more resistance. How does resistance work? It compares the accuracy of whoever is placing debuffs or negative effects, like increasing your skill cooldowns. It's not a debuff, it's a negative effect. It takes that accuracy, it compares it to the resistance, and basically if they're equal, I think it's about a 90% chance. If you got, I think it's about 20, 30 accuracy more than their resistance, it goes up to like a 97-ish percent chance. With resistance, you want to have 100 resistance more than their accuracy. So they have 400 accuracy, you have 500 resistance, and I think that's about a 90% chance to resist. And then you can push it up to, I think, 150 resist-ish more to get about a 97% chance to resist. There's always a 3% chance it won't happen either which way, unless, of course, a skill says cannot be resisted or whatever, right? But yeah, so basically, you need lots of resistance, right? If enemies are commonly building 500 accuracy, you're going to need 600 to 650 resistance, maybe even more than that to be comfortable. And as well as that in PvP, especially, we obviously don't have it here, but there are far more accuracy bonuses in the game than there are resistance bonuses. So it's much easier to, and accuracy from gems and relics are more common to get accuracy ones, etc. But accuracy gear sets tend to be a little bit better and more commonly used as well. So yeah, there is a strong favoring towards accuracy, so I guess the game's not too stagnant, but still, you get the gist. Certainly for PvE content, for fighting bosses, where you know how much accuracy they have, you know how much accuracy Viper Form has in Chimera. You can build a team designed to handle it, and you can use the increased resist buff to make it significantly easier to get the resist stats you need, and therefore let you build more speed, more damage, more survivability, use the gear sets you'd want to, and still have the resistance you'd want to. Cool. Let's dive in. Top 10, here we go. The first two, not great. We're going to go with the budget options. Two epics, Signy of High Shield. So, I think she's the only epic in the game. And the only rare in the game as well. Yeah, the only sub-legendary champion that gives the big increased resistance to everybody on your team. Super rare. This is very much a higher end, more premium buff. But she does it alongside reflect damage on your whole team. These are only for 2 turns on a 4 turn. You're gonna need buff extension, a lot of it, to keep this up the whole time. But it's there, it's cool. Also quite fun, you've got a 20% chance to reflect debuffs back on the attacker when enemies try to put debuffs on her, which is kind of fun. So yeah, I mean, certainly for Chimera, possibly there is a reflect damage trial. Increased resist is useful. She can remove a buff from enemies, remove a debuff from allies, decrease resist A1 as well, the big version too. Is she a good champion? No, not really, but it is worth noting she is the accessible source of increased resist on an epic. Now, a better epic, though worse at increased resist, well, you'll see what I mean in a second. I'm going to pick Galapo. There is also Hofskrul. It's probably worth a shout out as well. I'm going with Galapo, though. I think he's the best increased resist epic. He brings it on his A2. It is a 2-turn buff on a 3-turn cooldown. That's lovely. Unfortunately, it is the small version. So he'll help you hit your resistance thresholds, but he's not helping you massively. It's significantly less of a help. On the flip side, he's a really good champion. Unlike Signy, he's very generally useful. He brings an AoE heal, an AoE turn meter boost on that increased resist move. He's an AoE A1 that heals himself. He has a single target revive with 2 turns of unkillable and reflect damage on your ally. And he gets lots of healing, or your team gets lots of healing when either one dies, like sort of vice versa. and a resistance aura for faction crypts. So you could certainly look with him to building a resist team for faction wars. But yeah, if you don't have the better revivers for lizards, he's probably a go-to. He is obviously way better than Broadmaw. He's just a really good champion. But yeah, there we are. Right, now we come to the big ones. And you're going to see like a ridiculous jump in quality. Let's dive in. I wasn't sure whether to put her at this point or to put her a little bit higher, honestly, but Oella. Former fusion. Weirdly immobile. She's got moving wings and the rest of her barely move. It looks a bit weird. I've always thought that. But she is really, really good. What does she do? 30% turn meter boost. Big increased resist on a 3-turn cooldown. Boom. Great. Like an Arbiter level turn meter boost. It's massive. Then she has a huge heal and extends buffs. Then her A1 can put decreased speed as well. And she also puts out some continuous heal when people take damage. She has a partnership with Ultin of the Shell. You don't use that very often. She also has a huge resist aura for dungeons only. She has fantastic base stats. 110 speed, loads of HP and good defense, and 50 base resist. Yep. What a leap up, what a jump up. Oella, super viable, incredibly viable. You're going to see her probably a decent bit with Titus teams, in Chimera teams that are building resistance. Because she's got the, not only is she bringing you like turn meter boosting, decreased speed, and huge amounts of healing, but increased resist, the big one, and she extends it. So by herself, she can keep increased resist on your team the entire time. Because, I mean, there's nothing worse. Again, I think Viper form for Chimera is the perfect example. He steals all your buffs, right? If you don't have increased resist up 24/7, if it's not up 100% of the time, if he steals all your buffs off of one person, that might be enough to just end your run there and then. You need to have that increased resist up the whole time. Oella brings that to you. She is incredibly good. Now, maybe actually this guy should be lower. Diamant Coppercoin, he does the same thing. Maybe not quite as useful as her, but he is Void. But Diamant Coppercoin comes in, increase resist and strengthen on everybody. He also gives 3 intercept, 3 to a single ally, which is pretty cool. Each intercept stack blocks 1 instance of crowd control. His A2, charitable donation, increases all ally buffs. It's also an AoE attack and it's a turn meter boost. His A1 heals everybody. Heals you for more for each buff on this champion. He's doing some AoE attacks as well. That is quite cool. So he has a chance to turn debuffs into buffs before they're placed on an ally. So yeah, a boss tries to place decreased speed on you. He goes, hey, hang on a second. That's an increased speed. Boss tries to place decreased attack. Hang on a second. 50-50. It's an increased attack instead. Pretty cool. Speed in all battles aura really good. Again, really solid base stats. But yeah, you're getting increased resist, strengthen, and that crucial buff extension. You know what? To be honest, I think Oella's better. I'm putting him lower. I know he's a Void Legendary. I think he's been buffed as well. I think Oella is genuinely better. So yeah, I'm going to say Oella, probably more useful. But I mean, in the situations, because you're going to resist these debuffs hopefully anyway, but you're going to get you're going to get some buffs against certain bosses. It does open up some interesting team comps. Like you could, against a boss placing decreased defense, it makes increased defense, like defense nukers stronger. They'll be constantly getting increased defense. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, he is cool. Another ogre up next. It's Grisor Iron Gut. We're going to see a very similar pattern. So we've got increased resist and increased defense on all allies. And then he can increase the duration of buffs by a turn. Oh, okay. Yeah, they all have a similar... Not all of them are going to do this. In fact, I think some of the better ones won't do this. But this is one of the most important effects to combine with your increased resist. He also has an AoE attack with Provoke on his A3. His A2 is an AoE that's enemy max HP and heals him up as well. His A1 is an AoE that gives you a shield. He heals you for damage he takes, and he has got a cheat death effect. Grisor, very solid. What you're getting with him, good buffs and extending them. You're getting the AoE provokes and the AoE enemy max HP damage. So he's nice and versatile against waves, against bosses, and lots of content. He's very cool. Next up then, we have a champion who doesn't have buff extension, but really, really strong. Videy Tealcrest. Void Legendaries featuring prominently here. Videy is phenomenal. He has increased resist and perfect veil on everybody. Now, this is on a 2-turn duration on a 4-turn cooldown. So we're back to... It's a huge difference in how you're going to build your team, right? Instead of having Basically 100% uptime from the champion alone. Fighty's only bringing 50% uptime. You're going to really, really need buff extensions in this. But he makes it easier to do that because he decreases the cooldown of all ally active skills, except himself, by 3 turns. Incredible. So he's effectively resetting everybody else in your team to do their stuff again, which is so powerful. And that in itself opens up so many things. It's incredibly rare. And yeah, that basically makes him top tier just by itself. Then he also has an AoE buff removal with block buffs, decreased speed, and a turn meter boost for you. He's got heals on his A1 with some turn meter boosting. And yeah, he also makes turn meter boost more effective if you're under crowd control. Some anti-sheep stuff, which is a bit weird, but it's there. And AC resist in all battles. Aura, yeah, Fighty, he's really, really solid. People love Fight. I don't have Fighty myself, but he's one of those champions that whenever I do a video talking about champions, rating champs, it's always like, no, where's Fighty? We love Fighty. So there you are. Then we come to, I think, the top 2 legendaries. First up, and it's spicy that I'm not putting him first, perhaps. Feral the Barkhorn. Insanely good champ. Insanely good. Increase resist on everyone for 3 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. I guess not 100% uptime, but it's gosh darn close. Perfect Veil on everyone except him for 2 turns. Lower uptime on that. But then he comes in with AoE, decreased accuracy and block buffs. Ignores resistance against bosses. He has an A1 with decreased speed that again ignores resistance against bosses. He's got 60 resist in all battles aura. So far you're saying, cool, he's got a great mix of debuffs and buffs. That's nice. Why is he so good? Here we go. Spirit of the North is passive. If an ally's under 2 or more buffs, any buffs, they get 50 more resistance. Bang. And obviously that's going to be boosted by the 50% increased resist as well, making it so much easier. And you could add his aura in on top of that as well too if you wanted. Tons of resistance just from him directly, which is massive. 3 or more buffs, 50 accuracy as well. And then the big one, 4 or more buffs, which he's bringing 2. 4 or more, you get 20% damage boost just flat, which stacks on top of every other damage boost in the game. It just multiplicatively stacks. It's incredibly good. So yeah, Feral is insane. This passive is giving you so much stats and a huge damage boost. Incredible champion. One really nice thing about him as well. Obviously, I've mentioned Viper Form and Chimera. It's an interesting example because we haven't really talked about decreased accuracy, right? The decreased accuracy paired with increased resist, because it's their accuracy versus your resist. You boost your resist. If you decrease their accuracy, Feral can basically let you resist stuff. Just with this 50 resist, if you use the aura, increased resist, you get decreased accuracy. There's a pretty good chance for most enemies, even if you don't build any resist intentionally, you might still start resisting them, which is pretty insane. Now, for some bosses, they can remove debuffs before they do nasty things. Or, I mean, yeah, Chimera Viper Form's a perfect example. He changes form, removes all his debuffs, and then he tries to steal all your buffs. So decreased accuracy doesn't help. Whereas older bosses, decreased accuracy was much more the go-to because it was easier to maintain the debuff than it was to maintain the increased resistance buff. And I do think this is something that is changing from 2025 into 2026. Certainly, that increased resist is becoming more valuable, more of a strategy to use. Yeah, because decreased accuracy, some bosses, it just doesn't work against when you need it to. Then number 1, not a Void Legendary, and a Fusion champion, a recent Fusion, Mavara the Web Diviner. I think she's incredibly good. You've got an Arena aura. It's very good for Arena as well. Her increased resist move is here though. Strength and increased resist on the whole team. And it equalizes your HP levels. It brings all your HP up to the level of the ally with the highest HP. Really, really strong. She brings you a single target revive with perfect veil on everybody and unkillable on her. She can use this even if nobody is dead. Her A1, well, let's go to her A1 last because it's kind of a crazy passive. Her A2 is cool. You get turn meter boosting. That's mostly a PvP thing. It's unusual in PvE to see this work, but this is such a strong passive. Every 16 buffs she or her allies receive heals everyone for 20% max HP. She's regularly putting out 2, and then she's got on your whole team, 2 buffs on her A2, 1 buff on your whole team on her A3. Well, I guess it's you know, another buff because she doesn't get Perfect Veil, but she gets Unkillable. So it's sort of like 1 buff. So she's bringing like team-wide 3 buffs regularly in the rotation, and then more on the A1. So she herself is fueling this fairly well. If you bring in other buffing or debuffing champions, things start to go crazy very quickly, and it ends up being a ton of healing. Very cool. Then her A1. This is what is super special. Fervor for 2 turns on a random ally except herself. Cool. Fervor gives you 10% more damage and 10% damage reduction. Very rare. Very few champions have this buff. It's very new. Mostly from a relic, to be honest, which is a mythical relic. Extremely difficult to get and extremely difficult to use and level up. But yeah, Fervor. Very cool. But then the passive. Allies under Fervor have a 50% chance of joining the attacks of other allies under Fervor buffs. She won't join in, but others can. And that's incredible. So many ally attacks added to your team. It is an insane amount of damage. I thought it was crazy. We were doing the first world boss, the Tainted Demon Lord Coalition boss. And I was running Grand Oak Podrick, who's got like turn meter boost and increased speed, ally attacks, cooldown reduction, buffs for the team. He's got loads of stuff. He was doing his whole kit. He was going crazy. We put in Mavara. We just had her spammer A1, and it did almost as much damage. And she was like level 50, didn't have masteries done, didn't know no blessing, nothing. I was like, that's crazy. That's insane. This A1, it does so much against these boss fights. So yeah, Mavara, what she's bringing you is loads of buffs, loads of healing, loads of ally attacks, and the increased resist is in there as well, and it's one of the most powerful parts of her kit. I think when we put this all together, she is, you know, pretty much an absolute premium Chimera champion. Insane. I've got 2 mythicals picked out. There's a couple more we could have mentioned as well, but the 2 best ones, I think Joan. Joan comes in at 2nd place for the mythicals. Can you guess the other one? Funny enough, they're both in the same faction, which is kind of intriguing. It's a Bannerlord thing, I guess. Joan the Luminant, though, she's often more hyped up for her alternate form, which is really cool. It's actually a weird resistance damage scaling. The more resist you build, the more damage she does. But incredible damage dealer in the alternate form. But don't sleep on this base form. It's really good. She's got that single target revive unkillable. Instant turn on the revived ally. That's insane. But her A2 removes all debuffs, increase attack, increase resist for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown and a turn meter boost. So fantastic. 100% uptime, right there, right then and there. And you've got the debuff removal. So if any debuffs were landed, she gets rid of them. Now you've got increased resist. You're not going to be getting any more. Hopefully not getting more in the future. Plus increased attack for some offensive benefit. Her A1 is going to be healing everybody and can do some buff spreading as well, which is really cool. Again, the damage does scale on resistance. Her passive, and she also got the 80 resist in all battles. Her passive, very interesting. All allies do 15% more damage against enemies whose resist is lower than theirs. So now you've got that Feral style passive. If you have more resist than enemies, 15% damage boost. Really cool. I actually, you know, so much hype is around Joan's alternate form. I actually kind of forgot about this, but this is incredible. It's so good. And then the active effect. Whenever an enemy is revived, more of a PvP thing, to be fair, but she'll instantly revive a dead ally, which is insane. So enemy revive somebody. Oh, I instantly revive someone and give them an instant turn. How cool is that? If no one is dead, okay, no worries. I instantly remove all debuffs from my team, give them increased attack and increased resist, fresh buffs, and give them 50% turn meter boost. I do that for free. It has a 3-turn cooldown, this effect, but still really, really good. It's not that long of a cooldown, really. And yeah, then she's got her whole alternate form, which is probably the coolest looking alternate form in the game. Like, just the swords pop out. Insane. Massive damage dealer. Insanely good. But yeah, she is crazy. But she's not the best increase resist champ. I mean, how could she not be? She's so good. But Androc, for me, is the number... I think everyone would probably agree he's the #1 increase resist champ in the game. What's he do? Increase resist, strengthen, continuous heal on everyone for 2 turns. 15% turn meter boost. Additional continuous heal if you're at less than 50% HP. That's on a 3-turn cooldown. So many buffs. Turn meter boost, 3-turn cooldown. Beautiful. A2, AoE attack, extends those buffs and heals everyone for each buff that had the duration increase. So massive heal. And he's making all these buffs, crucially the increased resist buff, full uptime, right? 3-turn cooldown, 3-turn duration, essentially. Beautiful. A1, increased defense in all allies. That's one slight downside. It's for 1 turn. You can get lucky and get a 2-turn. Like if you give him the Lasting Gifts Mastery, you could land it for 2 turns. Then you can start extending it. He tends to be decent at keeping it up, but it's not like he doesn't always have 100% uptime, I would say, on increased defense. Certainly if you're not running other buff extenders. If you're just using him, your defense damage dealer probably not going to have 100% uptime and increased defense. Now, if you're running ally attacks in there, other buff extenders like a Lady Mikage or something would be perfect. Yeah, you're probably going to have it up all the time. That's something to be aware of. Big thing with him, he's got a whole alternate form. Alternate form, not crazy useful, to be honest. The passive, though. Oh, I should also say 35% defense in all battles. It's fine. It's not a resist aura, unfortunately. Would have been cool for him. Knights of the Wild. This is insane. Increases each ally's resistance by 10 for each buff on anyone on the team. What Androc allows you to do is build no resistance whatsoever. You can walk into a boss fight. Like I've used them on my Titus team for Chimera. How much resistance do I build on my Titus? None. I don't even look at it. I just build my Titus for damage. I put him into Chimera. Because we're running enough buffs, between the increased resistance and this insane passive, my Titus just resists everything the Chimera does without needing to build resistance at all. Androc just lets you resist it. Incredible. And then possibly as good as that, critical hits inflicted by allies fill the turn meters of all allies by 5% once per skill. So like a multi-hit skill, like a triple hit, it's only going to give you 5% turn meter boost. But this, in a team where, especially in clan boss, where you might have 5, or Hydra, where you've got 6 allies attacking at a time, this can add up to loads of turn meter. And typically, you're going to be building your Androc teams because you can drop your resistance quite a bit. Build them with 100% crit rate, so everyone is giving everybody turn meter, and you end up taking way more turns than you otherwise would. Yeah, you give this guy 9-piece protection set, so you're turning each of these buffs into a damage boost. You're not going to die because you're getting strengthened and so much healing. Increased resist, no debuffs. You're getting tons of turn meter from all of his stuff. And yeah, it's a hell of a champ. He's a hell of a champ. Absolutely crazy. And he's so good. You almost never use his alternate form. It's not terrible. But, you know, it's kind of interesting because it's the opposite, right? He's got, instead of increased resist, he's removing their buffs and block buffs. Then he's got the decreased resist, weaken and feeble, instead of the increased resist, strengthen. And what's the other one? Continuous heal, I suppose. Turn meter boost. He's got the opposite of it, which is cool. Decreased defense instead of increased defense. It's cool, but he's not quite as useful. I'll use him a bit in the alternate form in Faction Wars because I do have this champ. But yeah, he is the #1. So there you go. Let me know. Who do you think are the best increased resist champions in Raid Shadow Legends? Let me know. Are you using them? Like for me, this is the key to my Chimera strategies, honestly. I use Androc in my Titus teams, and now I'm using Mavara for Chimera to do more trials. And resistance has become key. For Grim Forest, resisting the bosses is my key strategy. It's become a huge thing, as I said, for me, over the last year even. This has become a dominant strategy. And yeah, I think having a really good increased resist champ is essential now. As you're pushing from, you do need it, unless you got Androc, you're gonna need some decent resist stats in the first place to boost them with the buff. So it is more of a mid to end game thing when you really start to build for this. But yeah, it's a hell of a buff. Really important to know who your best increased resist champ is and to watch out for them as you are approaching. Certainly into end game, you want to have this buff on your team. 100%. You need to have a good one on your account, I think, these days. Yeah, it's fun to see an interesting meta change, I would say, rather than a horrifying meta change in PvP. This is an interesting meta change in the game. Let me know what you think. Who are your favorite increased resist champs? Did I miss anybody crucial? Let me know. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.